All right, so now that we have talked about the possible solutions to this problem, let's talk about what good can actually come from this. So, what can the pro choice movement succeed and solve? So, if the pro choice movement were to be upheld in office, it would reflect three major things in our world today. It would reflect overall general happiness within our world. Um, it would reflect that pro choice will live on forever and that population control is more important than you think. So, which brings us to our first slide, which is overall happiness and freedom. So, the pro choice movement is the freedom women have been seeking for a while. And so, women aren't solely the only people that will be benefiting off of pro choice movement. Um, Happiness and freedom are contagious, and if we were to get pro choice up in the higher courts and approved, then it would become a more happier and more accepting place for everyone. And so it wouldn't be just affecting women; it would also be affecting men too. Um, and so women have the rights to their own bodies, and so women having the rights and freedom with their bodies is winning the battle in the first place. And that's the first thing that needs to happen is women being able to do what they want with their bodies without being told no or having repercussions. Which brings me to pro choice will live forever. So, other than an increase in general happiness and lower stress levels with other people, the pro choice movement would be a stronger and more effective structure as a movement itself. So, as right now, the pro choice movement is strong, but can definitely get stronger. And however, state legislations are a battlefield for this movement. So that means that um, states agreeing with this movement is really hard because of like what Maddie and Paulina said about the old timers up in the high in the courts. And so the pro-choice movement will never die because of determination and obvious logical explanation behind the movement. And according to Stagenborg, a professor of sociology at Pittsburgh University and author of the book, The Pro Choice Movement, formal organizations with professional leadership will keep the issues before the membership. So the issues and solving them are more important than the movement itself. So pretty much he's saying that he doesn't really care about the membership and if you're involved in the movement, as long as you want to solve these things and you want to make an effort to solve these things, then you are part of the movement. So, which brings me to the last slide and the last visualization step, which is population control. And so, most importantly, it would solve population control, making the morals of ending a life less damaging, especially if it's under consent for a woman. So, population control is demonstrated through rape victims. So, it's demonstrated through rape victims who end up getting pregnant and would much rather not birth their rapist child, but would rather get an abortion. And so, abortion, aborting isn't that bad. And if you're looking at it like that, um, it seems more logical than having the baby, obviously. And so abortion is essential to any national population growth control effort and should be looked as a negative and shouldn't be looked as a negative if it is under consent. So again, abortion is looked at as essential to population control. And according to Stephen Douglas Mumford, an American specialist on population growth, developed countries will need to maintain per abortion rates generally in the range of 201 to 500 abortions per 1,000 live births if they are to maintain a growth rate levels below 1%. So that means if You want to, if we want population to be in control and not go overboard, then we need to have either 201 to 500 abortions per 1,000 lives to keep it under the 1% from going above our population control. And so, overall happiness, assurance that pro-choice will live on, and an increase in population control is essential to the pro-choice movement and will result in the movement is taken in, and result if the movement is taken into action. Pro-choice is the safe and fair way of going about this problem and has been solved in generations.